I'm not the bad guy for letting my brother-in-law who live in Peru learn the hard way about my llamas. My brother-in-law spent a summer in Peru with his parents when he was a teen. I don't know why, but this has become his personality. I had a fun cocktail party at my apartment when I live in the city. My sister brought him as they had just begun dating. He spent most of the time complaining that my piscosaurs weren't very authentic, and he has much better ones in Peru. We went out a couple of years later and ate at a little restaurant downtown that had tasty ceviche. Nope, it was done all wrong. You get the idea. Well, we all grew up and I remarried a guy who owns a small bit of land outside my hometown. We have a bit of an animal rescue and I love it. There is only one pup in the pie, Lori and Darnell. They are llamas. They are ill-tempered bad guys. I still love them, but I have grown to understand their moods. They don't have brother-in-laws, but it seems close sometimes. But the worst thing is that they spit a lot, and accurately. My sister's family spent 2 weeks with us this summer to get the kids out of the city, and so the cousins can all spend time together. I gave everyone the same warning. Keep away from the llamas, they aren't friendly. My brother-in-law knew better because he had lived in Peru and used them as pack animals. Well, he is currently in the bathroom washing out his mouth for the last 15 minutes. He went right over to the llamas to show his kids they weren't dangerous, and he got a double barrel of llama plume right in his mouth and his eye. He called me a bad guy for not telling him that my llama spit. Oh, llamas spit. Anyone who live in Peru and use them as a pack beast will know this. I found out from my sister just now is that he went to a touristy golf course that has llamas as carers for the golf clubs. He didn't even go to a long hike with them. I'm not the bad guy for not being more explicit in my warning. I'm not the bad guy for dropping out of my friend's wedding and ending our friendship because it's child-free. Hello, I'm 27 female. My friend is 30 female, is engaged to be married. Before she even got engaged, we always talk about being each other bridesmaid. And so when she got engaged, I was an automatic yes. Her wedding kept on getting pushed back for the past 2 years. But we have a final date. Her wedding is child-free and is 6 hours away, which wouldn't normally be an issue. Except a couple months ago, my daughter got sick. She has a major surgery 4 weeks before the wedding. I don't feel comfortable being 6 hours away from her that soon. And if all goes well, she should be able to travel. So I plan to take her with me on the wedding trip. Not to the actual wedding, but to the city. My mom will be taking care of her, so I'll be free. But I'll be close enough to her in case I need to leave urgently. When my friend found out I was bringing my daughter, she was mad. She said that she wanted a child-free wedding, where we can all let loose and just have fun. I assured her that my child wouldn't be even around, but she still insisted that if I bought one child, my attention will be deviated. She suggested I just leave my child at home with my mom, and when I refused, she lost it. She started calling me bad friend, saying I don't respect her or value our friendship. My child is adopted, and she made a comment that daughter was fine for X amount of years without you. She will be okay for a week. This annoyed me, and so I said, fine, since you don't want my attention to be split, I'm dropping out of your wedding. I will come as a guest if you want, but nothing more. She then started crying, calling me mean, and saying that I'd drop out and that we can no longer be friends. I stood my ground. Since then, she had the other bridesmaids and other people in the wedding party trying to guilt me into coming back. People saying it's her big day and that I shall be there for her. She herself hasn't apologized, but others have apologized on her behalf. However, I've stuck to my decision, but I'm starting to question if I reacted too harshly. So, Am I the bad guy for having my wedding at a venue that absolutely does not allow children, since my family made it clear that they will not comply with my child-free wedding? I'm having my wedding at an adults-only resort. They absolutely do not allow minors. I did this to save myself the hassle of fighting with my family over exceptions to my no children allowed policy. My husband and I are paying for the wedding ourselves, and we are paying for our guests to attend. It is a destination wedding, so we didn't want anyone we want there not to be able to come because of finances. I made the invitations very clear about whether kids were allowed or not. I received a lot of RCVPs saying that they regret that they cannot attend. I totally understand, except now my sister found out that I'm paying for everyone to come and has lost it. She said that she only said no because she didn't have anyone to watch her kids. The oldest is 16 and has watched her siblings while my sister had gone on vacation in the last month. I said that everything was booked already, but that if she made her own arrangements, she will be welcome at the wedding with her husband. She asked if we will be paying for whatever she arranged, and I said no. I had already paid for everything I had budgeted for. She said that I'm a bad guy for not wanting her at my wedding. I said that if I didn't want her to attend, I would not have invited her. My parents are now saying that I tricked my sister into not attending. My sister isn't poor, and the cost for her and her husband will be between $2,000. She just wanted me, the band, and all of her kids. So, what do you think? Am I the bad guy for upgrading my seat so I didn't have to sit next to my stepfather's family? Hello, I'm Amel 14. I'm on a vacation with my mom and stepfather on a bunch of his family. This is the second summer we have done this. Last year, I enjoyed my vacation, but the flight sucked. Have it switched with lots of games on it. My mom made me share with my stepfather's brother's kids because they didn't bring anything for entertainment. They could help watch a movie or something on the screen on the seat. I get to be bored because they didn't plan ahead. So this year I plan ahead. My dad gives me money so I can buy souvenirs and do my own thing. Asked him if he could upgrade my seat for me. He looked it up and saw that it was on sort of an auction system. If there are better seats to be had, then if you win you bid, you get the seat. He checked with my mom and asked her if she was okay with it. She said she was. We put in on $55 for an upgrade to Coach Plus or something. More leg room and closer to the front of the plane. I got it. It was great. I sat by the window up front instead of the middle row in the back. And I had my own plug for charging my Switch. When we landed, my stepfather said I was rude to not want to sit with the family. I said that I had a permission from my mom and dad to sit there. Now he is arguing with my mom because he said that it should have been discussed with him since he paid for the original ticket. I think I may think worse when I said that no one discussed it with me when I was told to share my Switch even though I bought it with my own money. He's saying that I'm not allowed to upgrade my seat on the way home. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for checking my husband's dashcam footage on his car without his consent? I live with my husband and daughter. My daughter and I recently went on a short trip out of state while my husband stays as he had work and I was supposed to look after our dog. On the last day of our trip, we got a call from my husband who was acting distraught and said that our dog Ellie had run away and that he could not find her. He claimed she just bolted away from him in the park into some bushes and he could not find her. Our dog is quite small, a mini poodle, mixed and almost 13 years old. She is still active, but it's really unlike her to run away from us. And I was suspicious but chose to believe my husband, and me and my daughter were in grief but didn't want to blame him. When we came back home, he seemed surprisingly okay and like us. Ever since the pandemic, my husband started working from home, and he has always been annoyed at how much attention we gave Ellie, and hated how Ellie begged to sit on our laps while he worked. A few days later, we got a call from an animal rescue in a neighboring state quite far from us that she had been found. I picked the phone, and it was on our landline, which we almost never use those days, but it was the contact on the microchip. I told my husband, and he just said, "That's great, I'm so happy." But it felt kind of blunt and insecure. I said, "It is strange that she got so far." And he responded that someone must have stolen her and then abandoned her. This made little sense to me as to why that would happen. When he was out drinking with his buddies, I copied the videos from his dash cam for the days I was away and saw that he had indeed taken Ellie far out of state and clearly dropped her in front of his car, thrown a frisbee-like object into a field, yelled fetch and drop off without her. I was livid and confronted him, and he just stupidly muttered how he dropped her there so she could find a farm and have a better life, and then the next day got really angry at me for viewing his dashcam and called me and my daughter bad guys. So what do you think? Am I the bad guy for giving my husband an ultimatum that he refused to help with bills? My husband and I have been married for 10 years, together for 20. I've always been more motivated than him and finished my bachelor's while he just dropped out of school and floundered a bit. I was young and dumb and began him to finish school but never considered breaking up with him over it. He had a few jobs, but I've been working on my actual career this whole time, and I'm now in a great place financially. It's noteworthy that I bought my house before we got married, and that's when he proposed. To be honest, he didn't contribute anything financially since we got married, but I can even remember what the excuse was back then. He got fired from his last big job a few years ago and went part-time at a different company, but it was at least paying utilities. After we started seeing a therapist who put him in his place a bit. After he started at his new job, it came out that he had been cheating on me for years, and part of that was how emasculated I made him feel, and etc. We went to a new therapist who specialized in infidelity, and we're trying to move past it for the sake of our child. He did do a lot of work on himself and made substantial changes on his behavior at that point, but for other reasons, I just wasn't feeling happy and asked if we could separate. He was never financially able to move out. On his own, so we just separated within the house and did the best we could. During this time, he was trying to win me back and was so sweet and caring that after years of us being separated, I took him back. Part of our agreement was that he will pay me a certain amount in rent to help out and make me feel less burdened. After that, I never once saw even a penny towards the amount he told me. It's been excuse after excuse about how he could back his hours to spend more time with us, but honestly, he spends most of his time sleeping or playing video games, and I'm just feeling lost again. Every time I bring this up, he shuts down and won't speak to me, so the house becomes tense and I feel our child suffers. He thinks I'm being a jerk for talking divorce again, but I just feel that I'm being taken advantage of in the worst way. It's also not like he's staying home and cleaning or fixing up the house, but nothing, I say, seems to help. Is this a hopeless situation or not? What do you think? Am I the bad guy for not consulting my husband about having my best friend's husband's baby? I've been best friends with my friend since elementary school. I think of her like a sister. Due to health conditions, she has always known that conception will be difficult for her. It is very unfair, and we had many discussions about it. Around the time we were in high school or college, I offered to one day donate my eggs to her if she is unable to conceive naturally. This was not something I forced upon her, nor did she pressure me to offer this. It has been a mutual discussion we've circled back to every few years, and we're very much on the same page. I trust she will make an amazing mother, and I will be able to have an aunt-like relationship with her children. Flash forward to the present day, and we are both now married. Me and my husband do not have kids, and are not planning to have kids until mid-30s, when we have more money and a nice house. She and her husband have been married 2 years and are looking into family planning. As she has gone through testing, it seems she is unable to conceive or carry a child at all. So if they were to have a baby, they will need both an egg donation and a surrogate. A surrogate can be very expensive. And so she asked me the other day my honest thoughts on taking on that role. This will basically mean I will skip egg retrieval and just receive artificial insemination and then carry a baby. I said I would like to think about it, and she respected my answer. A couple evenings later, I told my husband about the situation and how I was still mulling it over. He got upset and said he wasn't comfortable with me carrying another man's baby, especially before his own. His tone came across as accusatory, and I reminded him that this was entirely clinical and that thousands of women donate eggs and are surrogates. But he said that this wasn't about the medical procedure. It was something we both had to live with for 9 months. He felt that this was not something I should be allowed to decide without consulting him, since pregnancy would involve him as well, supporting me through the journey, helping me around the house, etc. He also said he will feel weird since I'm pregnant with another man's baby, and he wasn't sure if he could see me the same if I went through with it. After some back and forth, he told me firmly that I could only have my friend's baby if we could anonymously agree on it, and that he will never agree. I understand his points, but I also think that at the end of the day, it's my body, and that this has been something I've discussed with my friends since before either of us even met our husbands. So it feels like I should still be allowed to make this decision on my own, even if that decision is no. He and I have discussed donating my eggs to my friend before, and he never seems to mind that, but I also don't know how seriously he took the conversation. So what do you think? I'm at the bad for not going to my best friend's wedding. My best friend was supposed to get married back in April. There was a bar at the venue, so they had to postpone the wedding. I have a 3-year-old daughter, Annie. The original wedding date fell on one of my ex days with her, but the new date fell on one of my days. Before they reset the date, he told me he would still have her if it fell on one of my days, but to let him know as soon as if I know, so he could make sure he booked it off. We work at the same place on opposite shifts, so I'm not off, he's at work, and vice versa. When we split up, we work out custody arrangements around this. We didn't know about their scheduled date until a month ago. It was Wednesday just gone. X was scheduled to work, and due to the short notice, he wasn't able to book off as too many other people were off. No one in our family was free to look after her. None of his friends were free, and most of mine were attending the wedding themselves. I even tried the parents of her friends, no luck. Asked my friend if I could bring Annie to the wedding, and my mom will be able to pick her up at 3 o'clock after she finished work. She said no because it was supposed to be child-free. I told her that the situation and that I will only be able to go to the reception then. I was supposed to be a bridesmaid, so she wasn't happy about this. She told me to get a babysitter, but no one was free, and I didn't want to leave her with a stranger. I apologized and I said I wouldn't be able to attend the ceremony, but I could go to the reception. She got upset and told me not to bother and don't talk to me for days. So I didn't bother. Yesterday, I got angry text from her mom demanding to know why I hadn't turned up to the reception like I said I would. I told her why my friend had told me, and she made excuses that she would be stressed with wedding preparation, and I shouldn't have taken it seriously. I regret that I missed out on the wedding, and I wish I had just gone now. I was just worried she would get upset at me if I did. I don't know. Do you think I'm the bad guy?